How can a young entrepreneur find his purpose if he's lost?
I've worked with 3,000, mostly women, over the past few years. And the thing that I've seen over and over again is this lack of clarity. So first, if you don't know what your purpose or what you're doing, you're not alone. This is absolutely normal. But then next step is to start working on this. And in the book, for example, I'm giving 2 examples of techniques that I've worked, and I've worked with a lot of women that I work with. The first is Design Your Life Thinking by Stanford. I did this at Stanford School of Business, and it was life-changing to me. You look at 3 different lives. I'm explaining in the book how to do that. So this is an example. Another one is the Wheel of Life. It's a wheel that you look at the different areas of your life, you rate them, and then you put your priorities for the next 6 months, and then you review them every 6 months. So there are lots of tools, but you need to want first. Like if you feel that you're lost, there are tools that you can do to take a step back and look at your life and actually do it. But a lot of people just are nagging that they don't know, but they don't do something about it. So taking accountability is a very important point as well.
I'm a firm believer that for someone to really have full clarity on his purpose and what he wants to do, he needs to go through a lot of pain. Can I ask, what pain did you go through? Hi guys, welcome to the Kelshi Podcast, where we talk about everything but mostly business and content creation, entrepreneurship. Today I have a very distinguished guest, Christine Asouad. She is an author, the founder of, you have a holding company, right?
Multiple things.
Multiple things.
One of
Yeah.
them is a holding company.
So owner of the Dunkin franchise in Lebanon, holding company, also author, and a shark on Shark Tank Dubai. So Christine is
Shark Tank Lebanon.
and the shark on Shark Tank Lebanon. I'm sorry, I got very used to that.
Very proudly on Shark Tank Lebanon. And
very proud, Anjad, and we're very happy that we're having Shark Tank here. And fun fact, like the production team of Shark Tank was in Dubai, and
it's
then
the same team.
They came back. I think this is wonderful.
And they did a great job. It was a real pleasure to work with them.
Amazing. Shout out to different productions. So right now, I want to start with who is Christine? And I also want to say what's happening in that podcast. First, we're going to find out who is Christine. Second, the story of the Dunkin Donut franchise in Lebanon. Third, the book of The Power to Say Yes. And then finally, her experience on Shark Tank Lebanon and some tips for you guys. So before Dunkin, before Shark Tank, before the book, who was Christine Asouad?
Christine is just a Lebanese girl that loves life and has been focusing on doing things she loves. And this is, if you want to consider my whole life, I just say yes to things that I love doing. And Dunkin was the first one. Now was the catalyst of growth, the empowering tribe, the power to say yes. It's been a series of yeses to spread the smiles and positivity to the world. So this is what I love doing.
So can you take us back to the first business you opened? What was it?
It was Dunkin Lebanon. It was, I was 22 years old, and we took the franchise of Dunkin for Lebanon. It was, and still is, an outstanding adventure because I love the brand, I love the product, and the purpose of Dunkin is to spread happiness. So it's very much in line with my personal purpose. And if your job is to put smiles on people's faces, this means it's a very positive life.
Wow. شو خطر على بالك for the Dunkin franchise? Why did you choose that brand? Especially there's a lot of coffee brands internationally.
I'm going to take you back. It was in 96. So most of your audience wasn't born yet when we started. I was finishing my master's at McGill in Montreal, and I was spending more time in coffee shops than at school. And this is how the idea came. I was discussing with my dad because I wanted to stay in Montreal, and he was telling me, what would you miss if you come back to to Lebanon, I told him two things, skydiving and coffee shops. He said skydiving, forget about it. He wasn't a big fan. But coffee shops, why not? It was at the end of the Civil War. There was literally nothing in Lebanon. We were one of the first franchises to open. We opened in May 1998. And timing and luck plays a big part as well, because it so happened that Dunkin was franchising in the region at that time. And they had a bad experience in a neighboring country with a big group.
Okay.
So for them, even though I was very young, I had no experience, but the fact that I had a master's in food science, specialized in bakery, and I was gonna be running the business myself. So I committed for 10 years minimum of running the business. It's been 30, so it's been a long time, but I love this every single day.
Okay. So, but still, I didn't get the answer. Like, why did you choose Dunkin' Donuts? Why not
Because
Tim
it's
Hortons,
such a
for
positive.
example? كان في شيء اسمه Tim Hortons.
Back then ما كان فيه يعني ديجا بس there were quite a few because we looked at different franchises. The main difference for Dunkin' is that I wanted this coffee shop vibes, but there was nothing similar in Lebanon. It's very difficult to imagine this back then, but there was nothing similar. So I didn't know if this coffee shop style would work. What was nice with Dunkin' is that they had 2 stars products. So they had the coffee and the donuts. So I thought if the coffee doesn't work or the coffee shop vibe doesn't work, I was sure the donut would work because we love sweets. And when we opened the Dunkin' in Lebanon, the first store we opened was the largest Dunkin' store in the world, because I wanted to create this meeting place for people of my generation and my age to meet at Dunkin', and the rest is history.
Okay. You know, when I was a child, I don't really remember, but somehow we used to get coupons for free donuts a lot. And
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
27,
But when
you weren't born
I
when...
was 13. To me, Dunkin' was like the place where we get free donuts all the time. I thought we used to run maybe. كان في
We've been doing
Yes.
so many things, because like one of I think the strengths of Dunkin' and the reason why we are still alive after like from 96 to 2026 very soon, so is the fact that we have clarity on our purpose, which is spreading happiness for Dunkin'. And second, because we automatically want to become part of your community, part of your life. And for a lot of people, going to Dunkin', رايح Dunkin' is becoming, until now, part of their everyday routine. And this is the part that I love in the brand, when you can become part of someone's life, of someone's routine, and spread happiness. So you're not only part of it, but part of it in a positive way. This is the best job in the world.
Okay. Tabitha, you had graduated from Canada. Why did you choose to come back to Lebanon in 92?
I wasn't sure back then what to do, because I had a BS in nutrition from AUB. Then I went to Montreal and I was very into adventure. I just came back from the North Pole. I was the first Arab to reach the North Pole. So I wasn't sure if I would choose a business path or an adventure path. And when the Dunkin' opportunity came, I felt this was something that could be aligned with my purpose, which is spreading happiness. And because we had this opportunity, I decided to come back.
It does spread a lot of happiness. And so was it always the plan to be a business owner, or?
Not really, you know, and this is something important when you're in your 20s. You don't really know what your plan is or what you want to do, and that's okay. Because as long as you have an idea of the kind of life you want, then opportunities will come your way. So I wasn't sure, do I want to go into an adventure more kind of life and keep on skydiving and going into this direction. I used to fly plane, do acrobatic flying, so I was in this kind of mindset, or go to business. But entrepreneurship is a big adventure as well. So in a way, it was a way to combine both.
But you were breaking headlines already before business, right? So you know how to do the extreme, how to probably... It was on the newspaper, of course, that you were the first Arab woman that you...
The first Arab, مش بس woman,
okay.
to be on the newspaper. Yes, of course, but it's... and for me, this adventure side helped a lot in entrepreneurship. Because obviously when you're an entrepreneur, you need to constantly do things differently and you're jumping into the unknown. This is why I always say when you're doing something that you consider crazy or that is different on the business side, try something crazy or adventurous on the personal side. When I started Dunkin, I just came back from skydiving over the North Pole. Like this was the most extreme thing that I've ever done in my life. So opening few stores was not that crazy at the time. So whenever you want to go into something that is different or that you're scared of, just go and do something crazy in your personal life so your brain is not scared anymore. And my level of fear, like the threshold went up tenfold when I went into these crazy adventures. So it helped a lot in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, in marketing also. No, it's a byproduct of an achievement, right?
If you want, marketing is, of course, it helps, and as long as it's intentional, and you're doing marketing to help your purpose and to support your vision, then why not? Of course.
So, what would you say is the hardest part in launching an international franchise in Lebanon?
The hardest part is Lebanon. Okay. This is the hardest part because the difference, and I remember when we used to do meetings, because it was almost the same time where we were opening in Lebanon, someone else was opening in the UAE. I'm now part of their board, and we had also friends opening in Saudi, and we used to meet with these three markets. And for them, it was always forecast and planning ahead, and they do a 5 years things, and they were on point on their 5-year forecast. And for us, it was, we didn't know what tomorrow would bring. And still 30 years later, we're still talking about the same thing. So for me, the biggest challenge of opening a business in Lebanon is Lebanon and understanding that the country is going to go through ups and downs, and not to let the ups and downs kill your motivation and kill your growth and your focus on keep growing and not being completely depressed, which happens along the way, obviously.
I noticed even when there was a lot of problems, Dunkin Donuts was expanding.
Kept opening, yes.
Absolutely.
We kept open all the time because, like, for me, you have, of course, you need to go into a survival mindset when a crisis hits, and we had a lot of crises along the way. You need to be prepared, do all the crisis management things. And once we became used to the crisis mode, we decided, and this was around 3 years ago, we decided to switch. I said, okay, we've been in crisis mode for a long time. Whatever happens, we know how to handle it because we've been through so much. So as of now, we're only focusing on growth. And when something happens, we will adapt. Okay, so you're growing, you're opening stores, and then you have an explosion or you have a war, or you will adapt to the war, but then you continue, you go back on your growth journey, and you don't let the situation constantly drag you down. And this has been a big drive, and we're at almost 50 stores now. Before the crisis, we were in our 20s, so we almost doubled our stores because I believe that whatever happens, we need to keep growing.
Amazing. I remember headlines of Dunkin Donuts opening at Beirut Airport. Everybody was so happy. I was very happy, you know. Something's happening in that airport. We can wait with good coffee and delicious donuts. So
the airport also,
good.
We have 3 locations in the airport, and trying to make sure to welcome people when they come to Lebanon and to be their last mile before they leave.
So how does someone go from 1 store to 50?
You go through stages, and that's a great question, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners listen to your podcast, because at the beginning, as a founder, you do everything. Like you multitasking. I remember the first months, I was literally sleeping in the Zala store. It was our first store. It was opening 24 hours. So I was the cashier and the cleaner and the manager and everything at the same time. And you can do this at the beginning, and it's very important for you to understand every aspect of your business. Once this is done, you start hiring people around you. So you start creating different departments, and then this takes you to the next level. And then the third level, you start really going into experts. So now we don't only have someone in marketing, we have someone focused on social media, focused on content creation. So you go from yourself, general team that are more of a generalist that are helping you in different thing. Then you start having a different department, and then you start going to expert and niche expert. We have someone that only focuses on TikTok, for example, someone that only focuses on delivery. So this is how you start building yourself and building your team. Like the biggest challenge is on the founder themselves, because we need to switch our mindset from one stage to the others. And here you have two choices. Either you're constantly learning and growing. I have 3 master's degrees. I'm constantly learning in food science and marketing. I finished a 9 years leadership program at Harvard. So it's like you constantly need to grow, and so that you are growing with your business. Or you can decide, I like the creation part. I like the part when you're starting a brand. This is where I feel I can add the most value. And once the brand grows, you then have a management team or a CEO that runs the business and scale it. So it's a choice. Also, there's no right or wrong in these choices to either start, grow, or scale the business.
Okay. So would you recommend Lebanese people to bring international franchises or start their own business from here and their own brand?
It's very different because, and actually, the most important is to decide what you want at the life level. And this is mainly the topic of the book. Let me show you. The book, Power to Say Yes, best gift to any person, and especially women in your life. So it's about deciding at the life level what you want, because your career is going to be part of your life, but it's not the only thing in your life. So once you decide, do I want a career as an entrepreneur? Do I want a career as a corporate person? Do I want as a woman not to work? So it's like you have so many different choices. Once you decide on your life choice, then you decide, do I want to be in corporate or as an entrepreneur? And then you decide, am I good at the creation part, or I prefer to have a franchise that gives me some foundation and I build from it. I was 22 years old. Like, I really didn't know anything. So for me, having a franchise helped me have some business foundation, and I took it to the next level. Now, I personally love the creation part. So I love when I'm creating something, and whenever it's at a certain scale, I hand it to someone else, and then they grow it, and then I create something else. So it's more life choices at first. First level is life choices, and then you start making business choices.
Okay. So what you're saying is business has to be perfectly aligned with
your
business
personal purpose, and it's
before
different
business.
Before business. Exactly. So, and what we've tried to do is every single business we still have, or we exited from, etc., always had a purpose bigger than myself. So when you have a life purpose that is clear, that could change with time. Like at first, I was building a brand, I was spreading happiness and working on the coffee shop business. Now I'm focused on 2 main missions: empowering women, supporting entrepreneurs. So you can evolve with time. I still have my F&B business, but I'm spending a substantial amount of time on this kind of purpose. So things can change, but having clarity of what you want out of your life, because the worst thing that could happen, you wake up at 90 years old and you're not happy with your journey. Yeah. So I want everyone to think, if I wake up today or tomorrow morning at 90 years old and I look back, would I be happy on every aspect of my life? Not only career, not only friends, not only family. We have so many different aspects of our life. The more we have clarity of what we want on a personal level, then you can really thrive at the business level.
I see. That's amazing. Hala, we're going to move to the third section, which is the book, The Power to Say Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So first, why the power to say yes?
Because a lot of people ask me, why not the power to say no? And actually, it's called the power to say yes because the first thing you need to do is say yes to your happy, meaningful life on your own term. Okay. So, for example, Paulo, for you, a happy life is something that is very different than what a happy life is for me. So saying yes to your happy, meaningful life first is the most important thing. And then you can start saying no to things that do not serve your purpose. But having clarity of your purpose makes a huge difference on how happy you are in your life.
How can a young entrepreneur find his purpose if he's lost?
What's interesting, I've worked with 3,000 mostly women over the past few years, and the thing that I've seen over and over again is this lack of clarity. So first, if you don't know what your purpose or what you're doing, you're not alone. This is absolutely normal. But then next step is to start working on this. And in the book, for example, I'm giving 2 examples of techniques that I've worked, and I've worked with a lot of women that I work with. The first is Design Your Life Thinking by Stanford. I did this at Stanford School of Business, and it was life-changing to me. You look at 3 different lives. I'm explaining in the book how to do that. So this is an example. Another one is the Wheel of Life. It's a wheel that you look at the different areas of your life, you rate them, and then you put your priorities for the next 6 months, and then you review them every 6 months. So there are lots of tools, but you need to want first. Like if you feel that you're lost, there are tools that you can do to take a step back and look at your life and actually do it. But a lot of people just are nagging that they don't know, but they don't do something about it. So taking accountability is a very important point as well.
Wow. So I'm a firm believer that for someone to really have full clarity on his purpose and what he wants to do, he needs to go through a lot of pain. Can I ask, what pain did you go through that make you want to, for the new purpose after bringing happiness through Dunkin?
Lots.
Yeah.
Look, everyone goes through difficult time. And this is part of our journey. And at first, when I was going through a difficult time, I was like, and I had my shares like everyone in Lebanon. Like if you live in Lebanon, there's no point that you didn't go through difficult time, unfortunately, with the explosion, the bank crisis, etc. So when we're going through difficult time, we have 2 choices. Either we take the victim route. Oh my God, why is this happening to me? This is so unfair. Life is unfair, etc. And sometimes it is. Or you decide, okay, this difficult time is here to teach me something and to help me grow into the next version of myself. And I remember I was at rock bottom, after everything that was happening. And I attended a workshop of Tony Robbins called Unleash the Power Within. And he's the one who really helped me move from the victim mindset to this growth mindset. And since then, every time I'm faced with something that is difficult, I think, okay, this is a way for me to grow into the next level of myself. So instead of feeling sorry for myself, I'm trying to see what is this incident trying to teach me to be able to get to the next level.
Wow. So if a young entrepreneur thinks that he knows everything and he wants to read one paragraph of the book, which one should it be? And what is it about?
First, if you think you know everything, you're not the right entrepreneur, because curiosity and always thinking on how to grow, no one knows everything. Like, again, I have a 4 or 3 master's degree, an undergraduate degree. I go to an executive program every year and I feel I know nothing. Like there are so many things I still can learn. So first, having this growth mindset is essential, or else don't read any paragraph or the book. But if you want to start is on clarity, on designing a life you love, because once you love your life, you can give to others from a place of gratitude and from a place of love, which is much better than from a place of guilt or pain or other.
Okay. Amazing. It's power to say yes. Do I get a copy?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I can't wait. Anjad, you got me excited.
And actually, whoever is getting a signed copy, I'm asking them, what are you saying yes to in 2026? Okay. And this is what I'm writing on the book. So tell me, what are you saying yes to for 2026?
I think more risk. I'm going to go all in.
Perfect. Perfect. So. I love this. pushing your boundaries, pushing yourself. It's a great intention for 2026.
As a quick example, we had an event, there's 920 seats and, speakers, panel discussions. And right now, I think I just want to go even bigger.
Yalla.
So with the
Good.
Let's see.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
We need, and actually, this is one of the things where I feel Lebanese entrepreneurs are not dreaming big enough or thinking big enough. And I love the fact that you want to go big. It's a good inspiration for everyone that is listening.
Thank you so much, Anjad. So now let's talk about Shark Tank. A lot of people want to know, Shark Tank tips, tricks. This is why I enjoy having a podcast, because you can put someone on the spotlight and just shoot
and
what you want.
What's nice is that I didn't know any of the questions. Like it's a total surprise every time, which is great, because you get the genuine answers. So many things. Shark Tank has been a great experience, and I learned a lot from season 1, and I'm very excited for season 2 as well. If you want the main tips or tricks that I would go for is what are we looking for as sharks on whoever is pitching.
Yeah.
And I created a framework because, as you know, we only have limited period of time to decide if we want to invest or not. So I call it the 5P framework. So the first thing that is important is the person.
Okay.
Do you have clarity on your purpose? Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Is this something that is in line with your personal purpose in this part of your life? This is one. The second P is the problem you're solving, because it's very important for a founder to understand the difference between the problem they are solving and the product they are selling or the service they are selling. So, for example, if I take this phone, are we connecting people or are we selling a phone? So having clarity of the problem they are solving, and this is a question I ask often if it's not part of the pitch, is crucial for our decision. The third is the potential. So how many people have the same problem that you're trying to solve? How many people are willing to pay for your product or your service? So this is the third one. The fourth one is performance. And this is where a lot of people failed in season 1. Knowing your numbers. So for anyone, because we were relatively nice, if you want, in season 1, but in season 2, if you come and you don't know your sales, you don't know the difference between gross profit and turnover, not even net profit, like this is going to be, they're going to be out directly. So
eaten.
It's very important, not eaten, just not interested, Okay. So it's like showing that there is proof of your performance, there is traction, there is repeat customers, etc. So you need to know your numbers inside out. And the last point that is important is understanding the perspective of the investor. And this is also something that a lot of people didn't understand in season 1. Because when you're coming to pitch, it's very different for us. For me, for example, I've mentored hundreds of entrepreneurs. As a mentor, I can mentor a lifestyle business, I can mentor a small business, I can mentor a business that has small potential, that's fine. But as an investor, I'm investing in a business, expecting return and expecting multiple digit returns. So when someone comes and says, I want 100,000 for 10% of the company, and when we tell them, how did you come up with $1 million valuation, they don't even know what we're talking about. Most of the founders we've seen, they are asking, I want 100,000 and I'm willing to give away 10%.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's not how it works. So doing some research, and today with ChatGPT, it's very easy to get all this information. Doing some research, understanding the perspective of the investor. So when you're coming in and pitching, you are presenting something that is a win for you and that could be a win for the investors as well. So these would be the 5 tips that I would give for anyone thinking of going to season 2.
5 P's?
5 P's.
Okay. So Hala, if we just want to resume it.
5 P's.
As a shark, what's the first thing you look at when a founder walks in?
The person, the problem they're solving, the potential of the business, their performance, and to their knowledge of the investor's perspective.
Okay.
So these would be the 5
And
things.
from these 5,
The top 3 are deal breakers.
Yeah.
And then the other 2s are nice to have. So
Okay,
the
nice.
person, because we're mostly investing in people, the person, the problem, the potential are the most important. The numbers and the person, it's important for them to know their numbers, but even if they're just started, if they show us some traction, they don't need to be at $1 million turnover to pitch. They could be at an early stage. We had a lot of early stage, but just something that gets us excited. And for them to understand the perspective of the investor is very important as well. But the first 3 are deal breakers.
Because سبقتيني بالسؤال, which is great. So where can we find this framework? Or do you
I
have
post
an
on
ebook or
LinkedIn.
something?
I post on. This is something that I came up
Okay.
with, so that I have my checklist when I'm assessing a pitch very fast. But what was interesting in this, especially in this season, I had the framework and I was going through the exercises, making sure I have all the answers I need. But it was mostly a very emotional season because when someone comes in, first, you know how they deal with stress because it is a very stressful experience. And you had this experience when you come in with the music and the light and 5 sharks in front of you. It's not easy. So we know how people handle stress. But some people really share a lot of vulnerability. They show themselves. And at the end, because we're investing in people, it's very important to be yourself and not try to have a persona or not try to have an identity that is not really you. So, of course, there's a part that is rational in our decision, but there's definitely a part that is emotional in our decision as well.
You said something here, and I had this dilemma for a long time. Do we show ourselves and the weaknesses, or do we hide the weaknesses to stay strong in front of the sharks?
Not necessarily. You're not hiding a weakness.
Yeah.
But if someone asks you a question, like, be yourself. Because at the end, we're investing in you. And we have a due diligence after. So let's say if we finish this show, and then when we do the due diligence, it turns out that everything you told us about you, about your partners, about your business is wrong. There is no point. So I'm not saying you don't need to cry on stage, but whenever you are being yourself. If you're someone that is focused, be focused. If you're somewhere all over, you can be all over the place, because we don't want someone that is showing us a certain persona, and then when you do 2-3 meetings, you see something completely different.
Absolutely. So if someone has a very good business, his numbers are amazing, بس هو مش حبوب.
مش قصة حبوب.
لا,
it's قصة if you
so
can have alignment, because it's an alignment of values. Okay. So it's not necessarily as a حبوب أو لا, but do we have an alignment of values, yes or not?
Okay.
If you don't have alignment, and we had some people in season 1 that have interesting businesses, but their personality, there's no match. Like, I didn't feel I could be working with this person.
I get you. Okay, that's clear. So what makes you lose interest in a pitch?
It's the value side. When someone is disrespectful, that's over. When someone gives you different answers to the same question, so also there's a lack of trust. So it's mostly the values part that kills the interaction. And actually, I didn't notice, but some people from the production team told me that whenever I lose interest, I close my booklet, like I'm taking notes, and then I close it, so they know that I'm out. And I did it unconsciously, so it was kind of funny when they noticed.
Okay. That's very cool. You know a secret now.
Yes, exactly.
Watch Christine's book when you're on the pitch. Okay. And what's one pitch mistake you see over and over again?
Of course, not knowing their numbers. This is number 1. I'm going to say it over and over again so that no one that is coming to season 2 to come unprepared and not knowing their numbers, and not understanding the investor's perspective. So these would be the top 2 that we've seen a lot in season 1.
Okay. After the deal closes, let's say we did 25% for $100,000. Is that صرفنا $100,000, okay? and now the business is losing. Is it 25% in the wins and the losses, or is it 25% only in the wins?
Of course, you become a partner, or you become a partner. But what we do after the deal closes, we have a due diligence phase. So this is one. And second, the founder comes with a plan. So let's say we're giving $200,000.
Okay.
So the first 50,000 are going to be used to this, and this is the milestone. The second 50,000 are, because we don't want founders to run out of money and then need more, because we don't want them to lose more equity. So it's at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're spending a certain amount to get to a certain objective. Then you're spending the second amount to get a certain. Let's say I need this much amount to buy chocolate so that I can sell XYZ during the Christmas season. Okay, so this is the amount you sell. Did you sell? Yes or no? If yes, great, then let's go to level 2. If no, what did we learn? What can we do differently, etc. So we are strategic partners. We're not only giving you 100,000 and letting you run with it.
Okay, that's very nice, because it's really not like that in all Shark Tanks. Okay, so
and actually, different investors have different strategies.
Absolutely.
Hey.
So okay, there's in the startup VC world, there's a lot of the standard agreement is a safe note. Okay, if it's and I saw from Shark Tank US that sharks don't really like when we have this Silicon Valley backed entrepreneur that has a cap table Tawil Arida and has given 5 or 6 safe notes, is going to Series A, etc. So what's your opinion about this? Would you give a safe note to a startup?
It could look. We have a lot of different options to invest, and again, every shark have a different investment strategy, and you've seen it in season 1. Some sharks, like myself, we were spraying, so we were going into relatively small amount, 50,000 to 150,000 in multiple investment, because it was the first season and because it was a lot of early stage investments. Some other sharks prefer to have a higher ticket, but in a smaller number of companies. All these are strategic investment. So for me, what I'm really interested in is to have enough skin in the game, because, and it's important for the founders, because if you have someone that has 2% equity, like how I'm investing now, I pledge on 11 companies. We're closing around 8 or 9 companies. So it's as if I have eight more kids. But if I have 8 companies, I'm going to allocate my time depending on the potential return of this company as well. If I have 2% in a company or 5% in a company, it's not worth my time. I'd rather focus on a company where I have 15% or 20% or more, because I know that in this case, the effort that I'm putting in, the connections, the doors that we're opening are worth the return. So this is why it's so important for founders to understand the investor's perspective. Okay, so if when you're getting strategic investors in, you're getting money, but you could get money in different ways, but you're also getting expertise, you're getting their time, and you're getting their connections. So you need to make sure it's worth it. What you're proposing is worth it. So for me, when you have people with a long cap table, multiple safe note, and I'm going to end up with 2%, I'm not interested.
It's not interesting. Very nice. Okay. That's sort of a wrap up for the questions. But how much equity it starts to become interesting?
For me, it's 15%.
15%.
And usually this, of course, if it's a mature business that is already at $10 million in sales and they have track records, then we can reconcile. But if I look at the companies that have been pitching in Shark Tank Lebanon, for me, I'm trying to always get as close as possible to 15%. Less than 10%, we don't put a mentor, because the way we're structured, and this is something actually that could be helpful to understand, different people have different investors backing them up. So, for example, Hassan has the holding of Spinners. So this is why he's always looking for things that are interesting for Spinners and Knock Knock. So for me, I have a tribe fund. So I raised a fund that of Lebanese success stories that want to invest in Lebanese startups. So I have access to a very big network of people that are behind me. So when you're getting to the Tribe Fund, you're not only getting Christine, you're getting lots of people with me. Okay. So in our case, we do multiple things, including one of the investors becomes the mentor of one of the startups that we're investing in, depending on their skill set, their expertise, etc. If we have less than 10% in the company, it's not worth it to have one of the investor mentoring, like for 7%, 6%. So it needs to be, even for more mature company, we need to have at least 10% to have a mentors. For early stage startups, we did a 6 weeks incubation period. We're putting them a business coach that is meeting with them on a monthly basis so that we have reporting. We meet with them on a quarterly basis. So if I'm going to put my resources, my network, and my time, it needs to be worth it.
Wow. Amazing. I think you just gave very insightful information for Shark Tank Season 2.
Yes, I can't wait.
You were saying if a business has $10 million in sales, etc., do you think we're going to see bigger businesses like that?
Of course. And I encourage businesses to come at different stages of their growth because different stages can bring you different added value. So, for example, for early stage startups, we help them refine their proposition, their business model, make sure that they have alignment on purpose, etc. So, it's we have something called the Spark program. So, it's 6 to 8 weeks incubation. So, this is a big added value to help them have the right infrastructure, and we help them grow. For companies that are already established, it's supporting them in their growth in Lebanon. And people that are even bigger, we have a huge network within Lebanon, the GCC, Europe, the US. So depending on where their growth can come from, we can, Africa as well, we can open doors across the world. So when you have a $10 million company that could, let's say, it could make sense for them to grow in Africa, we can open doors in Africa. If it makes sense to them to open in Europe, we can open door in Europe. So it's not, Shark Tank is not done only for early stage or only for growth company or only for scalable company. It's made for everyone, and different companies have different needs, and we will adapt to their need and open the doors they need to their needs.
Okay. But when does the shark get his money back?
Look, it depends because you can get your money back in different ways. You can grow. Let's say if it's a business that have a good cash flow, they can put a plan, and the shark will get a certain amount per month, per year, etc. when they distribute profit. You have some that are scaling very fast. They might not make profit, but the aim is or they will not be distributing their profit. They would be reinvesting their profit, and the aim is an exit. And then this is a different kind of things, and then the shark will make their money at the exit. So you have different ways, but it really depends on the company itself, on the sector, and the growth stage where the company is at. So for more mature businesses, you can have a repayment plan. For businesses that are here to scale, you can have an exit plan. So it depends on but the aim is to get the money back, and this is not only back with proper returns, because today the easiest way for anyone that has cash is to put them on the stock market. You have a 10% return in something super liquid, and it's been averaging 10% for a very long time. So this is the benchmark and the comparison. So when someone comes to Shark Tank, and we had so many of them, that tells you, I want 100,000, and in 3 years my turnover is going to be 100,000. It's not interesting. I'll put the 100,000 somewhere else. So understanding the shark or the investor's perspective is super important to get something that can scale and that can be amazing for you and amazing for the investors.
إذا كالسين كان في a brand that had a very good product, but they asked for money for the pockets. Which I thought was very funny.
Yes, but this is why this is a typical someone that does not understand the investor's perspective, or that doesn't understand when you need to ask for an investor, because also not every business is investable, and the idea you get institutional investors at a certain stage when you have something, you have shown traction, you know what is working, and then you're putting money in to fuel your growth. Because when you're at the beginning, you don't know where traction is going to come from. And the problem, if I took money from sharks or from investors to sell this, and then I noticed that the traction is not coming from this, it's coming from this, it's very difficult to change the reason why you raised money in the first place. So the recommendation is always to start with angels or family, friends, etc. at the beginning to show where the traction is coming from, and then get the money from the investors when you know what's working and you want to go faster.
D'accord. Final question, who shouldn't come on Shark Tank?
أول شيء, it's not every business is investable, but this doesn't mean they shouldn't come on Shark Tank, because you can learn a lot. I'm sure people that came and didn't get money learned as much as people who came and got money. But it's better if you have an investable business, a business that is ready to get investors in. This is the best case scenario to come to Shark Tank. But there are some, I don't know anyone that came to Shark Tank that didn't benefit. So I really encourage anyone, especially in Lebanon, because of the fact that we had so many crises, we don't have a lot of option to get capital or visibility. This is a great option.
Wow. What's next for Christine Asouad?
Lots of things. I'm saying yes to the universe. First, the power to say yes. The next book is going to be the power to say yes in business. Because first you need to decide what you want at the life level. And then the next step is at the business level. And for this, I'm doing 7 principles to start your business and 7 principles to grow your business based on my experience and all the entrepreneurs that I mentored. So this will be the second one. We're doing the Power to Say Yes retreats. We're going to do this for this book, for the business books. The first one in Georgia, actually. We're doing a destination retreat. And then we're doing in Dubai and Lebanon as well. Workshops, because I want people that read the exercises of the book to actually do them. And most people are not doing them. So when you do them with a group, you end up doing them and having more clarity for your life. So the Power to Say Yes now is a big part of my life. And the focus on entrepreneurs. So Shark Tank, we're creating a full structure and ecosystem for the companies we're investing in. We're looking forward to season 2, to having more companies in our portfolio and having enough time to really focus on each one and give them the opportunity to grow and scale at their full potential.
Christine, merci كتير عن جد for this podcast, for sharing all this information. I'm sure entrepreneurs, people coming on Shark Tank Lebanon are going to get a lot of value. And Anjad, again, thank you so much. So thank you so much. Please follow the Kelshi Podcast on Instagram, Christine Asouad, Dunkin Lebanon.
The catalyst of growth.
The catalyst of growth. Also, the power to say yes. It's available on...
It's available on Amazon if you're in the Gulf, or in Lebanon and all the bookstores in Lebanon, and at Dunkin as well.
Okay. Any book signings coming soon?
Yes, we're doing multiple book signings. You can check the Catalyst of Growth Instagram account, and we're listing everything that we're doing.
Thank you so much. Subscribe to the Kelshi Podcast. I am Paulo Khayat. See you soon.